Hello, how you doing? I'm going to talk about the cheap property update. Yay! Cheap property update. Now, I'm always doing research on cheap properties. I found one for $10,000. The house was built in 1915, and it had a decent sized yard. I don't know exactly how many acres, but a decent sized yard. Now, see, if you bought something like that, you don't have to live in the house. You can tear that house down and put a yurt on it, or put a trailer on it, or just build your own very simple house, mini house on it. Okay, you don't have to live in a 1915 house. Okay, but anyway, I saw it on the internet for $10,000. I have seen church buildings for sale. I saw one had a really nice paved parking lot for $13,000. This church, 13. Now, see, I would buy that. Everything is done. It's paved. The parking lot is paved. That's really good. Now, see, if you bought a space like that, you can still have some kind of greenhouse on the property. There's still properties: Alabama, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and there's a lot of tax delinquent properties in Akron, Ohio, and actually throughout Ohio, throughout Cleveland, and throughout Ohio, to tell the truth. There's all sorts of cheap properties. There's all sorts of cheap properties in Detroit. Detroit has actually abandoned hospitals, y'all. I mean, if you bought an abandoned hospital in Detroit, you could actually probably put 20 of your friends in there if you're willing to rehabilitate it. But Detroit has abandoned hospitals, abandoned schools. I've heard of families buying abandoned schools, and everything is there. I like these abandoned schools because everything is there. The cafeteria is there. The auditorium is there. Everything is there, rooms, and it's just real nice. I really like the whole idea of buying an abandoned school. Avoid Washington, D.C. There is no cheap housing in Washington, D.C. at all. A 2-bedroom is average $3,000 a month. You can't afford it. An average 1-bedroom is $2,500 a month, and you cannot afford that either. Okay. I hear there are cheap properties in Nebraska for $1,000 an acre. There's cheap properties in Western Texas for $1,000 an acre. You know what? Anything has to be better than living on Skid Row. It has to be better than living on Skid Row. I don't know if Walmart will continue to allow people to park overnight. I don't know if that's going to continue because of the security issues. All the smashing and grabbing, blabbing and grabbing. Okay, so I don't even know if Walmart is going to continue to allow people to park in this parking lot overnight like they used to. So that's why, I always say it's important for you to buy a lot, okay, so you can have somewhere to park on it. If you're getting some kind of income like disability, retirement pay, or whatever, in the bank may allow you to borrow $10,000. The bank may allow you to do that, or more, I don't know. But I'm not into this borrowing money. I'm not into this mortgages. But if that's the way you want to go to buy a cheap property, then that's okay. But see, I can't make you do that. I can't make you save your money, but I am encouraging you to save your money if you want to buy these properties. And you got to do your homework. You got to get on the internet like I do and look for properties. And some of these properties you have to grab and go. I mean, you better hurry up and buy them because I guarantee you, somebody else is looking at them too. Particularly when you go to an auction. If you want such and such a property, I guarantee you, somebody else is looking at that property too. So if you see a cheap property, you better grab and go. Okay, so I recommend if you're homeless, get on the internet. Do most of your homework on the internet first. If you're homeless right now, get on the internet. Go to Akron, Ohio. See what it takes to buy that tax delinquent property. Okay, and if you want to go live in Akron, Ohio, because you got to follow the rules of the state, the particular county that it's in, whatever the rules are. But the properties are still out there. And so I do recommend that you buy, particularly if you're homeless. Now, if you're an old person, I still recommend the same thing, that you buy a piece of property, put a yurt on it, a tent on it, or whatever. Because look, if you've been priced out of California, if you've been living in California for 20 years, but you're priced out of it, you just priced out of it. It's nothing you can do about it. So I do recommend if you are a senior citizen to also buy these cheap properties. Have a nice day.